Today I want to add some more details to your information about Israel. I'm not from Israel, I'm not a Jew, I'm just a lover of truth. And what you find is that no one tells the truth. What you hear in your media is only part of it. One bit here, one bit there, and all mixed up and organized to take you to the point where you believe what you are told, which is not the truth. Now let's look at, first of all, that land of Israel. This land was Israel's from the beginning. It's proved by the Bible, by archaeology, and by all kinds of other stuff, like many writers, geographers, politicians from the past, Romans, Greek, and all the rest have written about it. Secondly, that nation of Israel was created as a way of solving the situation created by Hitler and others. The Jews had just been massacred in untold numbers during the war. And so a solution was provided, a place that would be a shelter for them so that they could congregate there and be safe. So that is an important aspect, because no other country in the world has ever been created for that purpose. None. So it was meant to be for the Jews. Another point to remember is that the land allocated by the British that were in charge at the time to Israel, to the Jews, was truncated immediately. Half of it was carved out, and it became property of Jordan and Egypt. And so the land of Israel became very small. I'm talking of Israel as a nation. But even at that, we know, and no one can dispute this, that this land, this nation is still meant as a shelter, so that any Jew living absolutely anywhere in the world, if persecuted, could just take a flight and go and resettle in Israel. It's their land and they are entitled to a place there. And we have seen people running from America, from France, from Russia, from all other places in Eastern Europe, and many others, including Africa, part of it. So anyone that can prove that is a Jew is entitled to free access to the land. And this means that Israel has no full control on its population, unlike all the rest of the planet. Once someone says he's a Jew, he's entitled to be welcomed. And that's what they have been doing. If you go to Israel now, you find that people come from everywhere. There are people of all colors, of all languages, that have rejoined Israel. And it means that such a small land must have a protection on its borders. No one can just decide to relocate like that. Another point is, what about security? Because everybody nowadays talks about October 7, 2023. But this is not the whole truth. We have to remember that, first of all, Israel has been fought over before ever it existed as a country. And since 1948, in fact, the very day independence was proclaimed, Israel suffered 5 full-blown wars, all meant to raze it to the ground, eliminate it, kill all of them, throw the Jews to the sea, as it was said. And those wars, Israel won against all odds. And if you want to study, feel free, you'll find. Then in between these wars, uncountable number of missiles, rockets, and other weapons have been raining on Israel's territory from all angles, from north, from south, and from east daily. Thankfully, the west is the sea, so that spares them one side. And this has been done not by a full-blown army, but by individuals, and some of them not even military. People from different kinds of jihadi groups, Hamas, PLO, and many others. From the south, from the east, over the Golan, and from the north, Lebanon. And for many years, suicide bombers have been infiltrating Israel's borders, and they have been killing in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, and many other places, attacking civilians, not military targets, blowing themselves in buses, in bus shelters, in hotels, on the streets, everywhere, until Israel started building walls to protect its population. That was called Intifada, and you can find it on the net. And not only that, but kids, children were encouraged to be part of that war. So they were given kites, the kites that kids play with, attaching baskets of fire to them and blowing them over the border. So these kites were falling into fields, ruining harvest, destroying fruit trees, sometimes burning houses, kites and balloons. So even children from Israel could have thought, oh, this is a kite, this is a balloon, but it was no child play. And they have been doing that year on, year on. So now, when you see Israel retaliating more than before, it's not an accident. It's not. What's happening? It is just the weapon, one weapon too far. They couldn't endure that. They have been training their firefighters to pour water on the fields that were burnt down. They have been building iron dome to protect themselves from missiles and rockets. What they couldn't have done, what they didn't even imagine, is that while they were busy trying to sort out the problem of Hezbollah in the north and all the rockets and missiles raining from there, was that the people in the south would infiltrate and start raping, killing, destroying on October 7th. And the people that did that, it is proved beyond doubt with pictures that they were not army people. They were not soldiers. They were ordinary human beings. And when those corpses of ordinary people from the south of Israel that were brought into Gaza, people danced on the street. These were not soldiers. They were the ordinary population. So try and imagine if this had happened in your country, in your town, day after day, year after year, for many years. In fact, since 1948 and beyond and before. So there comes a time where people have to do something. before the population will say, where is our government? So I just leave you to think about that. Be honest. Be sensitive, because this can happen tomorrow in your place. All over France now, people are being killed, beheaded. That's happening. It's happening. People have been destroying shops because they were owned by Jews. They have been writing insults on the walls. And you can follow this day after day. So my friends, remember, you are just a human being like these people. We are all humans, and we are all entitled to defend ourselves.